Good. It's important that you invest in your own knowledge. So if you're doing this as a career, if you are a personal trainer, um, I understand when you're young and you're just starting out in personal training that you're not going to have a lot of money. Okay. But chances are you're going to have enough money to do these kind of things if you really want to. So I remember when I first opened my gym, Brutal Iron Gym, my monthly entertainment budget, the money that I would spend that didn't go towards food or like was just general entertainment was $6 a month. Yep. And that equated to a Redbox movie once a week because it was like $1.30. That dang 30 cents kind of got me. Um, but I remember that I would rent the movie, on a Saturday usually. And I remember if I slept in and accidentally didn't get it returned by Sunday, I'd be so bummed because that meant they charged me another day and I wouldn't be able to get a movie next week. So I remember having that restriction of a $6 a month entertainment budget. And I still found ways to educate myself, to learn. You can even get books secondhand off people. Chances are if you have somebody who has a good book like this, they're probably not actively reading it. So just ask them to see if you can borrow it for a month. It's free. Just borrow it for a month and give it back. Don't be a jerk and steal their book. But find ways to educate yourself. Okay? So those are the biggest things you can do when you're trying to help a client work around an injury is to number one, replace, not remove. Keep them active. Keep them doing stuff. Okay? If you're not sure if what you had planned might actually make things worse, err on the side of caution, substitute it out for something that's almost obnoxiously easy. See how they do. And even tell them to say, hey, this is probably going to be too easy, but I'd rather start too easy than too hard. Let's go through a couple rounds of this. If you're kind of blown, away and it's kind of too easy, we'll go ahead and move up. But let's at least start where we know we're safe. The client will appreciate that. They're not going to think you're wasting their time. They're not going to think anything negative of that. So they're going to be super excited to know that you actually have their health at on mind. So you're actually paying attention to that. Okay. So replace what you would normally do with something that you know is super safe and work your way back up to where you normally would be. Okay, you might find that you only have to work away from it for one or two one or two workouts, and then they're back to feeling better. Maybe it's going to take a month or two. Okay, or maybe even a little bit longer sometimes. But replace, don't remove. Still keep them active. So like I said, the person who broke their ankle that day, they still trained. The person who had a pinched nerve in their foot, still trained. Person who had a hand injury, still trained. And I have a million other examples, by the way. So I've had somebody who's a massage therapist, and they forgot their gloves that day. So we had to do a workout that wouldn't cause any roughness or callousing to their hands. So that was something that was interesting. So we couldn't pick handles or bars that had knurling. Everything had to be a smooth handle. So we also had to find ways to eliminate kind of twisting pressure of the handle in their hand, so that way it wouldn't add to a callus. So there's a lot of really cool, fun stuff I've done over the years. But that's the key: is find ways to keep them active, keep them moving, keep them healthy. Doing nothing will get you nothing. Okay, so have them do something so they can move forward towards their goals. The other thing you want to do is give them homework. So look up information as best as you can to find out what are the best ways to treat common issues. Okay, so we said Smash WeRx, Smash Works by Travis Bachmeyer is a good resource on YouTube. It's free. Okay, Kelly Starrett's books, Becoming a Supple Leopard 1 and 2, they're not free, but they're good books. Stuart McGill's books, Back Mechanics and the Gift of Injury, are fantastic books for back health. There's other ones out there, like we said, Function Movement or something about movement by Gary Cook. So you can Google that. That's a really good book. So go out there and learn, okay? And also experiment. So do a workout yourself, pretending like you have a certain issue. So what would you do if you couldn't do wide stance activities because they hurt your knees? So how are you going to train your legs today if you can't bend your knee past, say, 90 degrees? So give yourself a limitation, or even just say 120 or 130 degrees, where you can have a slight knee bend, but they can't really squat much. So how can you have a great workout and you can't do any squats? Okay? Or how can you have a great leg workout if you can't load your lower back in any way whatsoever? So experiment, okay? See what you can figure out. It gets fun. It's a fun way to learn. Okay? So don't do it like I did and get injured 14,000 times and have to learn that way. Just pretend like you have the injury. So instead of actually having to have it. Okay? So hopefully this gave you some food for thought. Hopefully it gave you some ideas to build from. This was more conceptual rather than actual like sets and reps and numbers and exercises. But I wanted to give this podcast in the sense of giving you permission. Okay, permission to still keep your clients active. Just keep them active in things you know are safe. Okay, and go educate yourself. Go empower yourself with education that these chiropractors and physical therapists sometimes aren't doing. Now, I should have said this at the beginning, but some chiropractors and physical therapists are freaking awesome at this stuff. They're physically active themselves. They lift weights. I have a really good friend of mine who is a really good kind of powerlifter, and he's very physically active and fit, and he's a physical therapist, and I wouldn't hesitate for half a second to send him anybody because he knows it firsthand and he knows the formal education as well. So if you have access to a physical therapist or a chiropractor that you know does resistance training, send your clients to that person. Okay, so that way they're at least going to get educated opinions rather than bullshit out of textbook opinions that don't really have any knowledge behind them. Okay, so hopefully this helped. If you have any specific questions, so if you have clients with like specific injuries, shoot us an email, brutalironGym@gmail.com. So we do consultations where I'll help you actually write training programs for people with injuries. Now that does come at some cost because it takes me time, but that is an option if people would like the help for that. So you can pay me a little bit of money and then keep training that person and make a lot more money, and then keep them healthy and active as well. Or if you just have a real quick question, just shoot us an email, and I'll either just answer it for you or I'll tell you, hey, I can't answer this, unless I invest more time. But I 100% promise I'll send you a resource in some way that'll help. Okay. So if you want any help towards any issues that you find or maybe stumping you, or you want to find more information about them, shoot us an email at brutalironGym@gmail.com. Cool. Okay. So if you like this information, you can find more from us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Brutal Iron Gym. Also, if you like the podcast, please share it with family and friends. So the more people we help, the happier the world will be. And if you have any questions, feedback, or suggestions, we'd love to hear from you. So this podcast is for you. So we want to know what you want to learn about. And you can tell us at our email, brutalironGym@gmail.com. As always, I hope this was helpful, and thank you for listening.